They know. Both Big Mike and his wife Barry know the election was fixed and that Biden cheated. They did a very good job of destroying all of the evidence that would have held up in court. All the evidence that remains will not. But they also understand that this is going to have a backlash. They understand this country, the majority of the people here, do not support liberalism. They don't support Joe Biden. You see, Joe Biden was a concession for Barry. Barry didn't want Joe Biden. Barry was forced to take Joe Biden. And he thought for sure that if he ran, he would lose. You see, Biden losing would have been an affirmation that Biden wasn't far enough to the left. And he was ready to come out and say this. But now that he won, he understands. He understands. Checkmate. Conservatism has won. Now, I know it doesn't seem like that right now, but let me read these statements for you. And when read dispassionately, I think you'll see what I'm seeing. About a week ago, we talked about this. Barack Obama. This is what 72 million votes for Trump says to me. That there are still divisions and citizens operating on different sets of facts. Okay, that standing by itself, maybe you could say that that was a slip of the tongue. But Michelle Obama, that's the key. Big Mike. Here's the headline. Voting in one election isn't a magic wand, and neither is winning one. I wonder what that means. Let's see what's on the mind of Big Mike. Quote, after we celebrate, we should all take a moment to exhale after everything we've been through. Let's remember this is just the beginning. Really? I thought it was the culmination of 4 years of anti-Trump efforts. Let's continue. First step, voting in one election isn't a magic wand, and neither is winning one. Let's remember that tens of millions of people voted for the status quo, even when it meant supporting lies, hate, chaos, division. We've got a lot of work to do to reach out to these folks in the years ahead and connect with them on what unites us. Wait a minute. That's not the message coming from the media. That's not the message at all. I thought we were a bunch of racist, misogynistic, homophobes, 80 IQ, angry. You see, that's what they've said for 4 years. But all of a sudden now, they need to reach out to us? They need to reach out to conservatives? Really? Now, why would Big Mike and Barry think this? They think this because they know the reality. They know the truth. If it truly was a referendum on Biden and the value system of the left, they wouldn't be saying things like reaching out to the other side. They would say, the other side needs to just suck it up and come around to our way of thinking. That's not what they're saying. You see, they're putting the impetus on their people to move toward the right. Now, who would have thunk that? Who would have thunk that? You see, they understand something. While CNN and all these people are saying, we don't heal the past by dwelling there. We heal the past by living in the present. We shall... You see, no. No. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. They know, as far as ideas goes, we won. We won in the arena of ideas. And I said this before in a video I did a week ago. Barry is upset that they had to cheat by that much. You see, they thought they could probably just cheat by maybe 2 million votes. They had to cheat by nearly 20. And they understand what that really means. Operationally on the ground, they're screwed. They're a very different group of people, and they have a weakness. They have a weakness that can be exploited, and Mike and Barry are terrified we're going to see it. They have divisions within themselves that they can't heal. Even as they talk about trying to heal with the right, they can't even heal within themselves. And I brought up a good little clip of a video here to show you this. This is what liberalism looks like. This is the government, this is Joe Biden, and these are all the little divisions of liberalism right here. But eventually it's going to run out. See, they fight amongst themselves over every little thing, and that can be exploited. So guys, my advice is this. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. And both Big Mike and Barry have confirmed that a giant mistake was just made by the left. Don't let hate eat you up. They'll use it against you. It affects your judgment. And the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Now, I know this is a lot of quotes and a lot of heady stuff, but let me give you a very specific example of how this is done. This is all over CNN, and a lot of people don't know what it means. A dark money mystery in Florida centers on the campaign of a spoiler candidate who appeared to help a Republican win by only 32 votes. I've said it before, do you want to win? Or do you want to feel good about winning? Basically, the long and the short of it is this. There was a race, local race, down in Orlando. And it looked like the Democrat might win by a few percentage points. So the Republicans got creative. And they put a bunch of money into a third-party candidate that spoke to the divisions within the Democrat Party. And that third party, those third-party candidates, I should say plural, were able to siphon off enough votes and split the Democrat side enough to give the Republican the majority to win, or the plurality, I should say. Kind of like what happened in '92, to sum it up. See, everybody thinks that when Clinton won, that somehow the country moved to the left and became more liberal. Absolutely the opposite happened in '92. Bill Clinton won with 43% of the vote. George H.W. Bush, the Republican conservative, got 37.5%, and the super ultra right conservative, Ross Perot, got 18.9%. But here's the real story. The conservative and the ultra conservative together got 56 point something percent of the vote, 57% of the vote. So 57% of the country wanted conservatism in '92. And here's the bigger story, and this is what's really going to stick in the craw of liberals. In '92, 100% of Americans wanted a white Southern male to be president. Let me say that again. In 1992, 100% of Americans wanted a white Southern male to be president. Now imagine that in the context of today's society. Both Bush and Perot being from Texas, Bill Clinton being from Arkansas. That would make a lot of liberals have a brain tumor. All warfare is based on deception. All warfare. The spots where we intend to fight in the next 2 to 4 years must not be made known to the Democrats. We need to have them looking over their shoulder everywhere they go. Figuratively speaking, of course, no violence. No mistakes, only lessons. Strategy without a proper tactic is the slowest route to victory, but if you have tactics, but no long-term strategy, that's just the noise before defeat. They know. Guys, I'm telling you, find a spot on the couch that's nice and comfy. Pop some popcorn. Get yourself a frosty cold beverage. Kick your feet up and get ready for the show. Because the divisions inside the Democrat Party, the minority party that's now going to be in charge, is going to be their undoing. And these two have seen it. These two have seen it, and they've both come out and made comments that reveal this. The only thing on the mind of Big Mike and Barry is the votes that Trump got. The votes that Trump got. Because they know those are the only righteous votes. The only votes that count. The only votes that stick in their minds. Neither one of them has said anything about the 78 million votes that supposedly, or whatever, that Biden got. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about where their mind is? They realize this is the worst, most catastrophic thing that could have happened. That Biden won with this method, knowing where the country is, the mind of the country. They saw the rallies. They saw the turnout. They knew. They were ready. They were both ready to come out and talk about how, when Trump won, how America was still so racist and so misogynistic and so homophobic. And if Biden had only moved farther to the left, or if the Democrat Party had put up somebody even farther to the left, like AOC, they would have won. That's what they were getting ready to say. You see, they didn't want this. They didn't want this, and they're upset about it. And it's going to all come undone really soon. But as far as you go, in your neighborhood, in your local area, forgive, but don't forget. Forgive, but don't forget. And never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. Like, share, subscribe.